Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Cybersecurity and Awareness Best Practices webinar. My name is Chris Cummings. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager at CorCystems, and I'm excited to introduce our presenters, Derek Ali, our Virtual Chief Information Security Officer, and John Chrisman, our Centralized Security Specialist. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us, and at this moment, Derek will start our presentation.
Thank
All
you,
yours,
Chris.
Derek.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning, everyone. Welcome. Very glad to be doing this today to bring some awareness here. So I'm sure you have heard these phrases a million times, and what do they mean, right? Phishing, ransomware, social engineering, cyber attacks, password attacks, malware, data exfiltration. So just before we start and we kick this off, if you look at your Teams, you will see a Q&A button. If you have any questions based on any slide here, if you can put your questions in there, and at the very end, we will try our best to answer all of these questions you have, okay? So with that said, my name is Derek Ali. I am here alongside my colleague, John Chrisman, and together we represent CorCystems, a managed service provider based in Ridgefield, Connecticut. For those unfamiliar with us, CorCystems has been delivering trusted IT services for over 25 years, supporting more than 100 businesses across a wide range of industries. Our mission is to build a strong partnership with our clients by offering both fully managed and co-managed solutions tailored to their unique needs. Fully managed basically means that if you do not have an on-site IT team, CorCystems, we have level 1, level 2, we have engineers, we have a full staff available to handle all of your needs. Co-manage means that you have we work with your on-site internal team as well, right? Using our tools and our expertise in-house. If you know of any businesses that could benefit from a reliable and experienced IT partner, we'd be happy to connect. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I will hand it off to John for a quick intro as well.
Hello, I'm John Kurtzman. I'm the centralized security specialist here at CorCystems. My main focus is to protect everything in-house as we hold the keys to the kingdom for a lot of our clients. So by protecting our team internally, usually it helps Derek with protecting our clients externally. And I have about 15 years of experience myself. And a lot of times I'm usually the one that has to answer the call for any security incidents or anything that clients might need for security-related questions, compliance, audits, etc. So I'm here to help.
Thanks, John. Okay, so who can guess what the average cost of a data breach costs the company? If you look at your Teams, you will see there's a chat button. You can also use that to enter any of your answers in here. Okay, I'll give you guys a quick minute. Try and guess what a small to medium-sized company, what it would cost in case of a breach for remediation, legal, insurance, PR, the potential loss of a business revenue, right? Let's see what we have here. Okay, we're getting a couple comments in here. Okay, yep. Getting some good answers in here. Okay, so based on the 2024 Verizon data breach stats, a small business ranges from 120K to 1.2 million depending on the severity. For a medium-sized business in Connecticut, the data breach can cost anywhere from 2.6 million to 4 million. And here's a quick graph to show you how it keeps increasing from 2018 to 2024. In 2018, it was 3.86 million. And as of last year, it's somewhere around in the 4 million range. So this is why these conversations are so important. This is a big business for these threat actors. All right. So very, very key information to know when it comes to these data breach. So today's objectives would be understanding social engineering, identifying common social engineering attacks, enhancing preparedness against social engineering. So what is social engineering? And why are we focusing on social engineering today? Well, social engineering is a tactic of manipulating, influencing, or deceiving a victim in order to gain control over a computer system or to steal personal and financial information. Let's for a second think like a hacker, threat actor. They are looking to extort or hold a company data for ransom by paying a fee to unlock data to continue regular business. They would try hacking or penetrating your system externally to get in. If that doesn't work, they try social engineering approach. They start gathering information on social media sites about you and basically who you are, who you work for, your roles and your responsibilities. They start researching who you are, gathering all this information. Some sites that they do these things on, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. So they build a story about you and who you are. So with that said, make sure there is no personal or company information when it comes to social media sites, because that's how they start targeting who the CEO is, who the Chief Information Security Officer, who are the decision makers. Okay, I'll hand it over to John to help further explain some common types of social engineering.
Thanks, Derek. I'll take it from here.
Yep.
So as you said, here's some common types of threats that we're seeing on a regular basis. Starting with phishing emails that sound like your CEO. Usually these are sent with a sense of urgency, asking you to act fast, to try to catch you off guard and not question their motives. A lot of times this could also be in the form of a text message as well. You know, hey, this is John, your CEO. I need you to call me quick, or I need, X amount of money and gift cards sent over to this address, this email address, ASAP. Here we go. Deep fake videos. They're becoming painfully real. So AI is becoming very good at replicating an actual person. And with a little bit of digging, a threat actor can create a fake video of one of your vendors or executive members. And honestly, it looks good enough to where you might not question it. Fake payment requests. This one's also pretty common. You'll get requests from a service like PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App. They're legitimate payment requests. So it's hard for spam filters and such to block them because they're coming from PayPal, they're coming from Venmo, but they're coming from threat actors who have maybe your email address or maybe your phone number. They're just shooting in the dark, and they're trying to get you to say, oh, I owe this person money. So again, trying to catch you off guard, trying to get you to act quickly and send money without questioning. BEC, business email compromise scams that are built to scale to look like marketing campaigns. We're seeing a lot of these now where it looks like some sort of sale going on from a vendor. Maybe if you're dealing with a bigger vendor like Ingram Micro or like Lenovo or Dell, and you'll get an email that looks like, okay, we have sales going on and so forth, and it's not. It's some sort of compromise marketing campaign geared to have you buy basically fake products. An HR or vendor requests to change wiring or payroll information. So these are also very common. Usually these come from people disguising themselves as vendors saying, hey, we've updated our routing information. Please send, the deliverable here or send a payment here. And unfortunately, this does work quite often. Always pick up the phone. I tell everyone, always pick up the phone and call the vendor or call HR. Never, ever, ever ask the vendor to call you, because if their email is compromised, the threat actor is going to call you, and you're not going to question what phone number it is coming from, especially, because they're targeting people who are on LinkedIn listed as payroll accountants within your company. So always be wary of that. And information is a company's most valuable resource, requiring identification, valuation, and protection. Despite efforts, breaches are common with credit card data, business emails, sensitive data, and intellectual property. They're frequently compromised due to social engineering, Trojans, ransomware, and other AI-enhanced attacks. The primary challenge is protecting this information, with 80% of companies citing end-user manipulation as the biggest threat. The solution lies in continuous cybersecurity awareness training and phishing simulations to foster a security-conscious culture. We have a quick video to go over social engineering tactics used by threat actors. And Derek, if you want to take it from here.
Thank you, sir. 80% are cited by user interaction. That's big, guys. So let's look at this video real quick. I think it's very powerful.
Traditional hacking aims to compromise the security settings of IT systems and applications. Social engineering attackers attempt to exploit the users of these technologies by claiming to be employees, vendors, or support personnel to try to trick the workers. People are trusting and willing to help others, and the attackers use that to their advantage by deceiving users into revealing information that compromises data security. Traditional protection from malware and viruses will not protect you from a social engineering attack. Once they gather bits and pieces of the organization, they'll be able to put the puzzle together and exploit the business. One technique is phishing emails, which are typically the most successful form of social engineering. This is where hackers will send out emails to their victims in hopes of gaining sensitive information by tricking them into clicking a malicious link, giving the hacker access to information. Another technique is physical breaches. This is where the hacker does an impersonation of someone else in order to gain access to a secure location. Attackers can also use the technique of pretext calling. This is where an attacker makes up a scenario to obtain the information they need. Pretext calling often requires trust to be formed between the attacker and the victim. Don't be fooled by social engineering tactics. Be sure to train employees to follow safe security measures in the event of an attack. Employees should always be cautious when sharing personal information on social media platforms. Never open an email that looks suspicious or let a stranger connect to your wireless network. Don't give strangers personal information until you can verify where they are calling from. Review security policies to stay up to date with the latest social engineering techniques. Always use a paper shredder to properly dispose of your printed material. It is important to treat security awareness and training as an investment. For more information.
So I hope that video was very helpful. It really gives you a broad overview of social engineering. John, want to take this one?
Yeah, so I want to talk about physical social engineering tactics really quick. So another thing that threat actors will do is they'll drop USB drives outside of a large company in hopes that somebody will take the drive and plug it into one of their machines. A lot of times there's malicious scripts or codes on those drives, and they'll poke around for access or try to gain access to the systems on the inside. QR codes, these are popping up as well, especially after COVID. Everyone was using QR codes for menus and so forth. Some people or some threat actors are posting malicious QR codes that will run a script to send money to them, either through Apple Pay or Venmo and so forth. And another physical social engineering tactic that's not on this slide is Always trying to make sure that you're identifying the vendors that are coming into your building to do work and so forth. There's an age-old adage that, no one really questions anyone with a ladder walking into the building. So always make sure that, if someone is at your location to visit from a vendor, you verify who they are, verify their identification, and make sure that, you're calling the company that they're representing and ensuring that they are a legitimate contractor with that company.
Yep. Very important, guys. Very, very important on these things. John, how about some of these red flags for social engineering?
Some red flags of social engineering, as we talked about earlier, urgent requests, pushing you to act fast. They're really trying to catch you off guard with the email or phone call and trying to use the guise of authority. Scammers will pretend to be a person in power, like a CEO or CFO, to have you act without questioning them. It's very, 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 very common. Unsolicited requests for sensitive information. If you didn't reach out to a vendor or a person and they're asking for information, chances are it's not legitimate. If you might have an email saying the bank needs to change your password, again, it's always good to pick up the phone, call the bank, call the vendor and say, hey, did you send this email or did you send this request? I do it all the time. I call my bank all the time to question stuff that they're sending me. And they usually have a department for that. Unexpected communications about your accounts or finance. This is very similar to the previous one. And again, if you didn't reach out to a bank or a vendor, and they're asking for information, chances are it's not legitimate. Things to look out for is obviously misspellings or grammatical errors in emails. Always be vigilant of checking for any sort of misspellings, especially in the email addresses themselves, hovering over the email address and make sure it matches the display email is very important without getting too technical. Also, another thing to look out for is if, someone normally starts an email with, hello or hi, and all of a sudden they're using like yo or hey or what's up, and it doesn't seem like themselves. Again, doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and call them to make sure that they are the ones that sent the email. Always be vigilant of suspicious links or attachments. Attachments. If it seems suspicious, be cautious. Call the person to verify. Never have them call you. Again, I'm going to keep harping on that one. And offers that seem too good to be true. If you won like a free iPad or a free vacation and you didn't sign up for it, chances are you didn't win it. That's just a scam. So always be wary of that. And the following video is a good example of how easy it is for threat actors to access your data and business information with just a few questions.
Okay.
You got it.
Some creepy dude in a basement? Well, that's a misconception. What if I told you there's a class of hackers who don't just have social skills, they have more social intelligence than anyone you'll ever meet? David Kennedy is one of them. He's what's known as a social engineer, or a people hacker. His craft is to dupe you into doing things and sharing information you probably shouldn't.
Can I just get your credit card number?
Some use it for illegal activity. In David's case, companies pay him to find out if employees are leaving the company vulnerable. He and his team show us how it's done. Step 1, spoof his number so it looks like he's calling from inside the company, and then call tech support.
Hello, you there? Hello?
Hi, this is Ken. How may I help you?
I was wondering if you can take a look at a website I'm trying to get to. It's for a big customer thing I'm working on for Monday, and I can't seem to get to the website from my computer.
Sure. What's the website? I'll see if I can get to it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate the help. I mean, it could be a stupid thing. I'm really stuck with computers, but so it's www.survey. That's SURVEY -pro.com.
Yeah, I got a prompt to open. I just clicked open, and I'm at the site now.
Here's what the IT guy doesn't realize. By clicking that link, he's just given David full access to his computer.
Whoa, okay, that's weird. I just hit it and it works. It seems like it's working fine now. Awesome. I don't know what you did, man, but I really appreciate the help.
Hey, no problem. That was easy.
That was it?
We're on this computer right now.
You were able to take over this guy's computer within, I would say, like
under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes, yeah. Under 2 minutes, took over his entire computer. And think of it as not just his computer, but it's pretty much a downfall of the entire company.
In this case, the company was paying David to hack them and see if their employees would fall for it. They did. To show you this demo, we agreed not to use the company's name. Kennedy hacks to protect. He's part of a growing number of hackers using this skill for good. Josh Corman's one of them too. He started a group to help bridge the gap between hackers and big companies.
Hacking is a form of power. Not surprisingly, as you walked into my house and saw all the Spider-Man stuff, I'm a big fan of the Stan Lee line of with great power comes great responsibility. We're coming to a point where the outside world, with a breach a week, a breach a day, affecting people's personal lives and national security, we got to grow up a bit and we need to be very deliberate about how we use that power.
Corman formed the group after his mom passed away.
She was my science teacher. She kind of taught me that darkness is the absence of light, cold is the absence of heat. You know, if you see something missing in the world, maybe it's our job to put it there. I think the world's going to be whatever we want it to be and whatever we make it. There are very, very bad people, which means it falls to the good people to try to fight it.
You feel like you have a very personal responsibility.
We have so much potential to shape our culture, our values, our safety. If not us, then who?
Wow. Did you see how easy that was to manipulate that end user? Simple conversation to get him to click on a link. That's the importance of this, bringing awareness. John?
Thanks, Derek. So I'm just going to go over a few ways to help protect yourself, not only in your business, but also in your personal cybersecurity endeavors. Keeping software on all your devices up to date. Obviously, if there's a new update for like the iPhone, Android, chances are there's some security patches that come with it. So you always want to make sure all software is completely up to date on whatever devices you're using. Using a strong password, either using a password generator and saving it in a password manager, or what I like to do is use a full sentence with punctuation and capitalization. The chances of cracking that are much lower than just using a single word or phrase. And again, using a password manager, there's a lot out there nowadays, including like Bitwarden, your iCloud password manager built into your iPhone, or even the one built into Chrome. A lot of times those will also tell you like, hey, this password may have been compromised, or you've used this at a couple locations, don't use this password anymore. Turning on MFA, this should really require no explanation, but pretty much every website and everything you log into now is requiring MFA. If you don't have some sort of authenticator on your phone, please get one. Anything is better than no MFA, but using an authenticator is usually the best type of MFA. And as we said many times in this presentation, beware of social engineering, beware of phishing emails. Don't click unknown links or attachments. It's really driving that one home. Be wary of information requests. Again, similar to the previous slides, just, if you're when in doubt, call and ask. Always report scams. If you have an IT department, always forward the email to them so they can take a look at it, or maybe they can give it a second set of eyes to see how the scam could have gotten through. Always check for encryption. This one's a little bit harder to look for, but if you've ever gone to a website and you get the giant red exclamation point and saying, hey, do you really want to proceed to this website? And it's a common website like Google or Facebook, double check your spelling, double check the link. Chances are, that website is not encrypted for a reason. It could just be a malicious website. Always choose reputable vendors. Always vet your vendors. A lot of vendors, especially financial ones, will have all the sort of compliance that they adhere to on their website. It's HIPAA, SOC 2, NIST. Using a credit card versus a debit card. A lot of credit card companies offer, buyer protection against scams. I know banks have gotten better, but credit cards generally seem to be a little bit easier if you've been scammed. A lot of debit card companies, if you erroneously send something to someone, whether it be a payment or routing information, and you went through all the processes entering your PIN number, double checking the account information, they're going to tell you, well, we did everything on our end to protect you, and you still let it happen. So credit cards in that case. And always check your accounts. Always log into your bank accounts. I know sometimes it could be scary, but always log in and make sure there's no, nothing out of the ordinary, any payments that you may have missed or snuck through. Always question them. And yeah. And who has your information? Oh, you're good, Derek. Keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who has your information? There's a great website, Have I Been Pwned? The link is right here, haveibeenpwned.com. You can type in your email address, and it will show you every data breach that you have been a part of. It'll list when it happened. So hopefully, if you did have your, maybe there might have been a rogue login on your email account, you could maybe trace it back to that moment and change that password or that account. Great website to always kind of keep tabs on data breaches. I mean, I know unfortunately right now there's a data breach almost every week, and there's millions of emails that get compromised. So it's always best to rotate your passwords when that happens, or if it's showing up on this website. And then always consider credit freeze. Doesn't hurt. A lot of these companies like TransUnion, Equifax, Experian offer this service. It will allow no one to open up a credit application in your name. Credit freeze does take a couple days to set up. Some companies do offer a quicker method of doing it. I forget exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but but yeah, no, that's some ways to help protect yourself and kind of keep an eye on who has your information and how to keep it safe.
Good information, John. Thank you. All right, guys, this is the end of our presentation. We're going to open it up to have a discussion. Any, Q&As that you have, please enter it in the Q&A tab button above in Teams. I'm going to switch over to that real quick and see if we have. So what should be your response to someone asking for access to a site if you're at the company where you don't recognize everyone's voice on the phone, ignoring the fact that voices can be spoofed as well? So we have one question here. What should be your response to someone asking for access to a site if you are at a company where you don't recognize everyone's voice on the phone, ignoring the fact that the voices can be spoofed as well? What do you think, John?
So like the same company that you're working for, or like an outside vendor? It's the same company you're working for. You should be able to call either management or whoever is allegedly responsible for that person or their boss. If it's a outside vendor, it doesn't hurt to always call the main number of that company and kind of ask if that person is a representative of the company. I just had to do this yesterday with a vendor where they were asking for admin permissions, but the technician who had asked for admin permissions was not the same technician that I had been working with. So I called the person who I had been working with and just made sure that the request was coming from a legitimate source. And that 5-minute phone call definitely saved some headaches down the line in case it wasn't a threat actor, but we just made sure, and they were very appreciative to say like, hey, thanks for calling and thanks for asking for that information.
Thanks, John. We have another question here. Can you talk about breaches through cell phones? So
yeah, so
yeah, go ahead,
this
John.
This one is tricky. So there are if it's referencing, say, the what Apple's been trying to feverishly patch over the last few months, what's happening is they're sending out a rogue link that when you click it I don't want to be too technical, but what it does is it's causing the phone to read the link or the script in a way that either gains access to the phone, or it causes the phone to do something outside of it's usually called cross scripting. So you're going outside of the realm of what it's intended to do because they've found a way to exploit it. I think everyone here has probably gotten the DMV text messages lately. That's one form of them. The thing is concerning is that I think the FBI and Apple have been telling people, don't even let those text messages sit on your phone. Delete the text messages as soon as possible. So the ones that I've been aware of is where there was an exploit where a threat actor could send basically the script in a text message, and just your phone getting notification would cause it to like reboot or do something it wasn't supposed to. Apple really hasn't given a lot of information on the current one in regards to why they're having everyone remove that text message from their phone. If we're talking about just like regular phone calls, I mean, like I said before, AI is becoming very, very prevalent, and they can mimic almost any voice now. So people are, using a text-to-speech to call people and say, hey, this is your boss, or especially somebody who has a lot of online presence. Social media is very prevalent with a lot of companies now in marketing. So there's a lot of videos of people who work for these companies, and that's a reason why a lot of companies are hiring outside media teams. So they're not represented, they're representatives of the company, but they're not affiliated with the company. I can go on about this all day, unfortunately, because it's becoming pretty bad. And it doesn't take much to go to someone's website and see like, oh, this website was created by Bob's website design, and then for me to make a Gmail account and say, hey, this is Bob, and I need to update my payment information. Can you send $30,000 to this account? And it will happen. So
I just want to add to that real quick. I mean, just getting back to the basics, right? When anyone who has, from a personal standpoint, have a simple thing as your bank account, right? Majority of the bank accounts today, when you log in, it has the option to do MFA, biometric, face recognition, fingerprint. Try your best and enable those more advanced features than getting the traditional MFA text. Because like we said, you're going into restaurants today, public areas where you have a barcode that is at the table, and they want you to scan it. They don't want to give you these paper menus anymore, right? And it only takes a threat actor to come and mimic that barcode.
Just drop one on a table.
Just drop one on
maybe at the table. Maybe they were eating lunch before you and they just dropped a malicious one.
And then you come with your phone and you're scanning this stuff, right? Any critical applications that you have on there, banking being one of them, just make sure that you have a secure way of signing into those, right? Like John said, you're getting the DMV texts. A very common one is Easy Pass as well. You're starting to get Easy Pass texts that, if you don't pay this payment, you're going to be in violation, or whatever the case may be. Don't fall for those things, right? Just be very cautious, very, very aware, right? We all have to be that way today, because there's some guy who's sitting, which is called a man-in-the-middle attack, and he's looking for the right moment. He's gathering information, and he's looking for the right moment to intercept. And when they do intercept, right? Perfect example. You get an email, Amazon.com. Amazon is spelled with maybe 2 S's. So just pay attention to these things. Having all of the tools in place, advanced spam filtering services. The number one is security awareness training, right? Make sure that you have that for your employees. Make sure that you understand what to look for. And then there's phishing simulations that goes out to train the employees and stuff like that. So if you have an IT department that offers that, or a company that offers that, make sure that you take advantage of it, right? Because security is a culture, right? And we have to make sure that we educate our end users. We educate ourselves as well, right? Because personally, we don't want anyone to get into our bank account information or a credit card information or any of that stuff. So make sure that you go to those sites, and make sure you enable those type of advanced authentication methods.
Is there any other
questions? So we answered 2 questions so far. I don't see any other questions in here. But again, if you want to reach out, this is our information. Just want to have a conversation about your company. If you are a company with us already, majority of this stuff has been spoken to in VCIOs, in weekly, monthly cadence calls, just having a service call with our technicians. So, majority of our clients already knows this stuff. If you are a new client, just, doesn't hurt. If you want to have a conversation with us, just pick up the phone or email us. This is the information, and someone from our team will schedule a call with you. Any new questions? Okay. Well, I hope this was helpful and informative. And I will just want to say thank you very much for joining. And we are doing one of these again in August, and you will get the email communication on it. John, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Derek.
All right. If there's no other questions, I see here, thank you very much for the information. Always a good reminder. Thank you very much again. Okay. If there's no other questions, thank you again, guys.
Thank you.